and this is a quick update with some awesome news. NPR is reporting that Bennie Thompson, the chairman of the January 6th committee, has said that the committee will make criminal referrals. They just don't know how many. I wanted to update you on this because I have for about 2 years now said that, not 2 years, as long as the committee has been around, that the January 6th committee needs to make criminal referrals. And needs to make criminal referrals because there is a weight of power that the government has. And the maximum power that our government can wield comes when all three branches of government agree on a subject. And here, with January 6th committee saying that they're going to make criminal referrals, it means that DOJ will have congressional assent and congressional direction in saying that the DOJ needs to follow through on the investigation that the committee has conducted. Remember that the Supreme Court also assented in the manner that the Supreme Court can, which is by denying Donald Trump's Bennie Thompson appeal and allowing the National Archives to give documents that they need, that the January 6th committee needed for their investigation. So you have this, things have to fall into place in order for our government to wield the full force of our government's power. And our government's power operates at its zenith when all three branches of government agree on an issue. This sort of governmental branch assent is, in my opinion, critical in going after a former POTUS because it is an unprecedented thing in our history that a former president incited an insurrection, committed seditious conspiracy, and continues to this day to threaten our republic by threatening to terminate the Constitution, proposing termination of the Constitution and laws flowing from it. And this move by the January 6th committee is an indication that Congress gives the DOJ their nod in saying, you need to go after Donald and you need to further investigate the matters that we have discovered in our investigation. Mind you, this criminal referral and the documents that will inevitably carry over to the DOJ after the January 6th committee concludes, the documents and the criminal referrals is separate from the criminal investigation and the grand jury investigations going on independently with the DOJ. So these criminal referrals, how many ever they make, will add to the Department of Justice's ongoing criminal investigation and grand jury investigation into January 6th. And there is assent from the Supreme Court by way of Bennie Thompson's allowance of National Archive documents to go to Congress. So this is coming to the end now. We are reaching a point where, Donald Trump tried to overwhelm our court system with frivolous lawsuits and just absolutely absurd arguments like the Mar-a-Lago case special master motion. And he tried to obstruct the January 6th committee proceedings with the Bennie Thompson case. And he took these cases to appeal. He even took the Mar-a-Lago case to appeal to the Supreme Court before the 11th Circuit appeal had resolved. He will do it again. He will appeal the full ruling of the 11th Circuit. I don't know how he would change his modus operandi at this point and say, no, I'm not going to. I believe he will. He is going to try and put up roadblocks, but he doesn't have any more roadblocks left to put up until after the indictments come out. After the indictments come out, he will have due process of law. He will have all of the rights that are afforded to every American citizen or anybody standing trial in the United States of America. You get due process of law. The United States of America follows the rule of law. And Donald Trump is out of time. I wanted to come out tonight on this momentous night and tell you this because it might get buried in all of the other news, especially since today is the runoff and Raphael Warnock is going to win this runoff election. And also, since the other big news is that the Manhattan Manhattan jury convicted Trump organization of 17 counts of tax fraud. All of this and the election will probably bury the news of Bennie Thompson saying that the committee will make criminal referrals. But I wanted to remind you of this. I wanted to bring this up and I wanted to tell you this now because it is important in the long run. It is critical in the long run in building a rock solid, ironclad case against Donald Trump when DOJ takes the indictments and slaps Donald Trump with it. So hold fast. It's still gonna take a long time. Don't think that he's gonna be indicted and convicted in the next month. It's not gonna happen like that. He's still gonna throw out roadblocks. He's still gonna make as many frivolous filings in courts as he can. I wouldn't be surprised if the courts start sanctioning his lawyers now, like they sanctioned Carrie Lake and Mark Fitcham's election frivolous lawsuits in Arizona. Donald Trump will file obstructions in any way that he can. He will file injunctions for evidentiary discovery. He will find ways to block. But once DOJ indicts and it gets in line with the criminal procedure that American jurisprudence follows, there really is no way for Donald to derail it. There's really no way for Donald to change the direction of the prosecution. At that point, Donald's options will be paddle boat to Cuba or a one-way trip to Moscow or Belarus or UAE or Saudi Arabia or North Korea. We know who he deals with. We know that they might give him sanctuary. If he brings with him some of the documents that he stole, the copies of the documents that may be relevant to them. So it gives you an idea of why he stole them. So I'll leave it at that. I will honestly come back and discuss this many times, but this was a point that I wanted to make today. The January 6th committee will make criminal referrals. They just don't know how many. Okay? And we, the people, will prevail. Have faith in the rule of law. Have faith in the Department of Justice. Have faith in AG Garland's judgment. Have faith in Special Counsel Jack Smith's hammer that will come down on Donald.